Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek, and I swear he's excited to be here despite the whole yawn thing. I also think that he has transmitted his cough to me through the microphone.
You just coughed.
We, I've been coughing more and more the farther we've gone. Chris is on to week 12 or whatever of his cough now. We've uncovered a new strand of coronavirus that's transmitted through podcasts, and so, listener beware. I'm just kidding. Is it too soon for that? It's probably too soon for that. Chris, how you doing, buddy? He's doing great,
Good.
is what he's trying to say.
Wait, am I on mute? Nope,
No,
doing
you're
good.
fine.
Sorry.
It's the real
I feel
deal.
like I'm in a Zoom call. Like, wait, oh, sorry guys, I was on mute. I
No.
just said something really, really profound and great, but I can't repeat it because the moment's gone.
So sometimes I think that, it's probably worse for the audio only people when they can't see us. They miss little things here and there. But this was a case where it might be more awkward to be watching on video as we're just smiling at each other trying to figure out if Chris is still on mute. It might be weirder to see that actual live footage.
Yeah, crap.
What Chris was
No,
trying...
I'm doing.
Now Chris is on mute. What Chris is trying to say is happy belated Thanksgiving. I suppose if there's such thing as a Thanksgiving episode, this would be it. Not that we have any activities planned or anything like that, but hope you have a good holiday and celebrate it wisely and appropriately. So yeah,
I hope you eat the right amount of food that makes you happy.
and actually be grateful for stuff and not just drink a whole lot or anything weird like that. Take some time. Be grateful, count your blessings, all that good stuff. It's good for you. And Chris, we're very excited to bring you today The Legend of Korra, Book 3, Change, Chapter 13. This is the last episode. This is the real finale, even though, as we mentioned last week, they all, last 3-4 episodes always tend to tie together in these, but this is the actual finale. And we're at the end of Book 3 of Korra, so we're kind of coming down the home stretch. A lot of mixed
Oh
emotions.
crap, we are.
We
Damn.
really are.
Was
But
there only 12 episodes after this?
isn't it
13?
12 or 13? I don't remember. But
What the heck are we gonna do? The Netflix show is supposed to be ready in 12 weeks.
it's not going to
We're
be ready
behind.
in 12 weeks, is it?
It's not.
We,
No.
I think we have numerous ratings videos
Oh,
that
don't
I'm
worry. I'll come
excited.
up with enough things to talk about
Yeah,
between now
well,
and then.
and I'm excited to pull out some final like best episodes overall or
Yeah, I know.
highest average things, just kind of rando things like that. I'm excited to poke through a lot of those deals as well to buy
There's
some time until the live action pops up.
13 episodes in book 4.
Yeah, so but hey, well, what a better way to enter the home stretch than with this tremendous piece of work that we're about to talk about right now. Well, I didn't really. I asked you how you were, and then you responded by choking, and so I assume that means
Yeah,
good. How you
yeah,
doing?
I'm same as I was the last two times.
So we're
The
recording.
statue, I think this ink statue is growing on me more and more. Even though I just,
The ink statue that you unboxed 2 minutes slash
yeah,
3 weeks ago or whatever. But I kind of forget what
I
order
don't
we're
know.
posting these in.
It's just growing on me a
Gosh,
little bit more.
he looks angry AF. Chris, you know what? Hey, if we're making jokes, I'm going to go ahead and say that at this point I have played some Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and I have opinions about it that I'll share, but not right now because I'll form them first in reality. But no, I'm looking forward to actually playing it. We go home for Thanksgiving. I'll con my wife into driving, and so maybe by this time you're listening to it, my wife will, have actually driven in the vehicle, and I'll be playing the Switch. And then
What
I'll
percent
have
of
that going.
driving does your wife do on trips?
I'm gonna say it's 60-40 me,
Really?
but
Wow. Man, I wish I could get that 40. Um,
I uh I don't know how to say this politely. My wife and I have a nice relationship, but this is one of those times where I don't allow it in the sense of no, we're not gonna be one of those couples where it's like he drives all the time. No, I'm not gonna. I will stay home, and then you will drive all the time if that's how this is gonna be. So no, we're pretty even. And she
yeah.
would even drive 50-50 if we wanted to do it, but she also sometimes she'll just fall asleep and I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna wake my wife up from a nap to
Well,
make her
yeah.
drive an hour or whatever. But so 60-40. I don't know, where are you at? Are you at 80-20?
They're like they're like 90. Let's see, 98 to maybe.
Oh my goodness. Chris, I'll straight up stay home. Like I will just like, all right, if you gonna make me drive the whole time, I'm not gonna like.
I guess my wife's defense. I don't cook ever, really.
Man, neither one of us cooks ever. Like if you listen, big picture, if things balance out, that's what's important. For
Yeah,
me, driving in a microcosm needs to balance out.
yeah, yeah. Every relationship is different.
Absolutely. Strike your balances. Mine is not driving all the time. I'm not a great driver. I don't think I'm dangerous or anything. I'm probably overly cautious, but it's not like I'm like if we go downtown and stuff, that's wife territory right there. I grew up in a town with
Mm,
no
interesting.
stoplights. Okay, I didn't see like a double left hand turn lane until I was already a man, and by then it was nothing but confusing. And thanks, I appreciate that. Long story short, we split the drive time pretty
Mm,
evenly in this house, and that's big for me. Chris, I didn't preface if you paid attention the past 2 weeks. My in-laws, they're not still here. It's the same evening. They didn't stay here 3 weeks in a row,
mm.
but they are here above my head right now. So I've adjusted my mic sensitivity, talking a little bit different, slightly lower voice. Hope it's still audible and not horribly bothersome to everybody. Minor audio disclaimer.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into. Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wait. Let's get into the episode.
yeah. Let's do it. I'm stoked.
All right. So Korra being all chained up in the Red Lotus's secret lair. Um, she uh she threatens them. She's like, after this, none of you will survive. Like, I like an avatar. I mean, it honestly doesn't feel like a full threat. Like if Kyoshi was delivering this threat, it would be like, Kyoshi's about to kill all of you.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, and
slice your heads off with an Earth disc.
yeah, Kyoshi's like, listen, I know right now it looks like I'm in a predicament, but I will get out of this. And when I do, I'm going to kill you all so bad that you will will wish you were never born.
I think in Kyoshi's
You
case
will
too,
pray, you will pray to Yang Chen that she takes over my body and stops me
makes it slightly more
from
merciful.
from inflicting so much pain on you.
You also with Kyoshi, you have this feeling of like, all right, you can take away, you could even take away my bending abilities, block my chi or whatever, and I'm just gonna break it down with my arms and then just beat the crap out of you with my bare hands. I'm not skilled as a martial artist. I'm just angry. That's all. I'd buy it. I'd watch that.
I mean, the thing is, Korra is, I mean, it's a real threat. Just the way she's delivering it, it sounds more desperate than like a for sure thing. But I mean,
It does.
she's well, at this point, there's only three of them left. I mean, by the end of it, she's two for three. So that's
That's a good number. Yeah, that's good
yeah,
success rate for an avatar murder.
yeah. So they say their plan. Zahir wants to kill the Avatar, make to where avatars never can never reincarnate. So he has to kill her in the Avatar state. So to do that, he's going to uh, inject her with poison, which would trigger the Avatar state, which then she'll die in the Avatar state either by their hands or she'll die from the poison, either one. And so they administer the poison into her, and she starts triggering the Avatar state. Well, first of all, she starts tripping balls, which is it's such good animation. Like they do a close up of her eyes, and they're so strained. And also, you see her lips, like her lips are chapped, which for some reason adds to this, I don't know, to this desperation that she's in. And they say in the like, and they do the close up of the eyes, which is creepy as heck. They say in the original one, her eyes were like moving, twitching rapidly as she was having these hallucinations. And then like some exec watched it. It was I think her name was Megan, and she was like, "Yeah, you guys gotta take that out." They're like, "Don't worry, we'll take it out."
Can you imagine being Brian and Mike, and you're like showing something, you're like all like giddy and so excited to show a final product, and then she's just watching it like in horror. It's like,
Yeah,
yo, that's messed
they
up.
say yeah they say like yeah she was freaked out about that.
I think this when Korra's tripping balls, my first thought too is like, all right, we got to have one episode just like we did Avatar: Last Airbender. You got to have one episode in which she trips balls. It's got to happen. The Avatar's always got to
Yeah,
hit a crazy trip at least once.
yeah. And one thing I love her hallucinations because it first opens up on Amon, and so also I've been going down this rabbit hole of Amon lately, falling more in love with the character because I've I've been just researching images of Amon because I plan on cosplaying as him in the next Comic Con, and I don't know, he just has a really cool look. But he Amon also impacted Korra because he even though Zahir by the end of it probably affects Korra the most physically. I feel like Amon was tapping into her deepest insecurities and her deepest fears. And even though he didn't even like do that much, I mean, he did take away her bending. Um, but even the fact that she's still having hallucinations about him, uh, it's personal. And she does have hallucinations with about Unalaq and pretty much all these things that Korra fears, like you're irrelevant, like the world doesn't need you, type of stuff. Uh, it's a really good hallucination, especially to go along with the fact that Zahira is trying to make her, irrelevant, try to make the Avatar, the last thing. Oh, also, I love. So I have it on right here. I love Zahira's line of like, Korra, you will be the last line of avatars. Like the world will see you as Korra, the last avatar, which is such a cool
That's really solid villain
moniker.
dialogue right there.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of times monologues, even good monologues, will still piss me off a little bit. But if you had the opportunity as a bad guy to drop a line like that, like even in real life, you would take that chance.
yeah. Um, oh crap. So absolutely great stuff there. The oh, I'm sorry, 1 second.
We'll be back after this quick message from our sponsors. Oh crap, they backed out. Chris, go ahead, take it away.
Oh man,
I know it's a tough break for
Subway was about to
sponsors. Yeah.
sponsor
So,
this. I don't know what's.
wouldn't that be amazing? Like Cora's like up there dying from poison, about to get attacked, and all of a sudden it breaks, and it's
Come to the
Subway, eat
Subway.
fresh.
Eat fresh. Eat what was it? The refresh. Eat refresh. Eat fresh. We don't
I
got time for Tom Brady.
That's actually a pretty solid Charles impersonation you got there going on, man.
I know. I think because just a little bit of build up helped it
You
out.
got the little yeah. Clearly, you haven't seen our other commercial. Those are they're
Uh,
solid. They're solid commercials. Anyway,
yeah. Um, I was about to go on for tangent, but I decided not to. You know, about dang it,
you can't help it.
the
It's too
animal
late.
bird, the animal birds Quiznos Subway thing.
It's been too long. Like I know
Okay,
what you're
so he's
referring
like,
to, but I
so
can't
he
pick the
was
bit
like,
out.
man, he was talking about Barack Obama. He was like, man, I think it's cool Barack Obama got that job. He was talking about how he became president, and he was like, man, it's really, really inspiring. Like, he had a job, and then he was like, hey, I don't want this job anymore, but still pay me to do this job, but I'm gonna go apply for this other job. And if I don't get that job, I still want this job I got now. He was like, that's like if I worked at Quiznos and I was like, all right, hey, Quiznos, I'm gonna go to Subway so if I can get a job at Subway. If I don't get that job at Subway, I want this job at Quiznos still. All right, Quiznos. But
That would be an incredible real life experience.
yeah. Uh, anyway, small tangent.
The rare
So
Hannibal Burris drop instead of John Mulaney. That's good. We need that diversity in our podcast.
I always loved Adam Burns because he outed Bill Cosby randomly off comment. Uh,
My favorite Hannibal Burris bit is just like when I don't even remember the joke he makes, but just the "Why are you booing me? I'm right."
yeah.
I don't even remember what he says. I'm just like, that tracks.
Okay. For those who don't listen to numbers, we'll get back to that.
That's
So they they trigger the Avatar state in there. They trigger the Avatar state. Oh, on the flip side of this, though, let me before I get into the Avatar state stuff. Janora is able to spirity see where Korra is at, and then they hatch a plan to to escape, which that doesn't really matter because Asami and Lin and Suyin break in and they defeat that person. So it was kind of good just to see them do something because this episode really comes down to like a lot of them are pretty helpless in this part. It was good to see Asami get in and get her metal her electricity glove doing stuff. I want to see more of that. I want to see Asami like evolve her suit because I think she could do a lot of cool stuff. Like, why not two gloves? I guess maybe you want one to like actually pick stuff up with. I don't know.
I know, but if she
Um,
just grows more and more into like a master mech throughout throughout book 4, that'd be incredible.
yeah, yeah. Um, so then they get saved, and so then so we go back to the Avatar state. They trigger course Avatar state, and I love how this music picks up. I love how it's animated because one of the difference between Korra and Aang, I think one of the reasons why so many people say that Aang has stronger avatar states than Korra, I don't think it comes down to any like real factual things. I think it comes down to perspective, right? Like oftentimes when Aang goes into avatar state, people are just like gawking at his power, like, oh my gosh, like the avatar, like
Those
this
people
is
ain't seen an Avatar in 100 years. What they got to compare
yeah,
to?
yeah, exactly. Like when we see Aang. Um, just so many different avatar states. People are like reacting to it, like in the desert when the when the god says he muzzles Appa and he goes in avatar state. Like all he does is like he hits one wind cell and he forms a sphere around him and he raises up. But the music is kicking in, everything's kicking in. People are like, "Get out of here! You have to go! You have to go!" Like people are freaking out. Like that moment in Avatar State wasn't that impressive, but it was everyone's reaction to it. So I often think that people's perception of how strong Aang's Avatar State is just because they're looking at how it's shot and filmed and the characters' reactions to it. And Chorus doesn't really have that as much. There's not really as many people like awing at her power, but she has great moments in the Avatar State that are she has more powerful moments in Avatar State than Aang does. Honestly, she's done several different a couple different things that I've never seen Aang do anything as comparable, like ripping a hole into space time. That's very impressive. Um, Granted, Aang's Avatar State battle at the end, the finale is very similar to the battle in this one, actually. But anyway, so one thing I love about this moment though is that these are like three of the strongest benders in the world. One's a lava bender, one's like a freaking psycho water bender, and she just not she takes the chain and she takes a rock and she knocks Pali like she boom pff, thump, and then Gazan almost as if he's like how dare she she hit not Pali she hit Ming-Hua like he has to feet you kind of read that he cares for Ming-Hua like he sees Ming-Hua get knocked out and he's kind of like shook from Korra's power. He's like, all right, I'll handle it, I'll lava bend this up to her in lava and kill her that way. And then Korra just takes the freaking, she blows the lava away. And then and then just the way Korra, like, just the way she uses the chains and everything. And then she jumps off, just really, really great visuals. And then she jumps down and she lifts all these four rocks. Uh, I don't know, it's just, this one of the times that Korra's powers look just, that you just gawk at. Like, even other powerful benders are in amazement of her power. Like I feel like Korra doesn't really get that often. When we've seen this with Kyoshi in the Kyoshi novels, we've seen it with Aang plenty of times. Even seen it with Roku, um, in the Winter Solstice episode. But Korra doesn't get that treatment that often. But so it was great to see it here.
The well, stepping backward just a little bit, you can take it as a positive. You can spin it into a positive for your argument or a negative for your argument. But Korra never gets to enter the Avatar state merged with a super powerful spirit fish being thing, and kind of
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Oh, that yeah,
But also kind of
that was probably the that moment there was probably the best God King moment. Like you have people bowing to Aang and others just getting wiped out.
so part of me wants to take that as like, all right, yeah, that's super duper cool. But the other part of me is like, oh, well, it's kind of cheating. But either way, just bringing it up.
Uh, yeah,
Second, I do
definitely.
think it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just agree. I think it's cheating.
I'm 50-50 because it's still really like it still happened. As a real thing that he did do, and I don't know, got to get some credit. So I'm kind of in the middle, but I am a little frustrated, or like I think it's embarrassing that these people thought that they were gonna sort of control the Avatar state or overpower the Avatar state, or that the Avatar state wasn't gonna beat the poison long enough. Like I'm kind of embarrassed for them that they thought it was gonna work. Like it was a well constructed plan for like a normal villain, but uh, I don't know, just picking nits. I feel like they should be better versed than this.
I mean, I think they had. I mean, they figure like, all right, either we kill her or the poison's gonna kill her. But I don't think they. I think you can be right in a certain extent where like I don't think they knew exactly what they were dealing with.
Sort of the
Yeah.
extent of the power, which there
Which thing is,
again
I feel like most people don't know
they
really.
haven't
Like
seen
people
it
would
in
challenge.
person, or like how did you
Yeah.
experience it. The only one who wonder might have some kind of idea would be like, all right, I'm sure Zahir has some sort of inherent spiritual understanding of the Avatar state and how that operates, maybe.
I
But
mean,
to
but I feel like people
experience it in
challenge.
real life and understand how to kill it,
Yeah. I feel like any. I feel like every villain in the Avatar universe underestimates the Avatar state.
yeah, that's fair,
Like,
and
if
I get
not,
it.
why would they fight the Avatar, a full fledged?
You wouldn't, yeah. The I and I don't want to. I'm not trying to bash them too hard, but it has an element of like even us, even as the watchers, like you are kind of on board the whole time. Like this is a good plan, this is a good plan, this is a good plan. And then as soon as Korra like really lights up, you're like us, the listeners, and them all at once. You're like, oh shit, that was really stupid. That was not a good plan at all. We gotta go.
Yeah,
So not really trying to bash them too hard, other than like a little embarrassed on their
yeah.
behalf.
Like you thought you were gonna do what?
You
You gonna make me do what?
want me to do what? That's brilliant.
Okay, so what do we have here? The air nomads, air niche people. They finally get found and caught, not caught. They finally get saved, and they're like, all right, hey, we gotta go save Korra. And then right when they get to saving Korra like Zahir flies out. Korra's jumping in after him. Really great fighting, great stuff. And then things get kind of split up, right? So then um, you have Amon. I'm sorry, not Amon. But then I'm on too much. Also with my cosplay, I want to do. I also want to have just puns. So I want to get like a little small boat and say I'm on a boat.
I would.
because because only because so like it'll be like I'm on a boat, right? You know the song I'm on a boat. Also because the voice actor for Mon said that in commentary. And also I just want to walk around with a picture of Bender from Futurama with a big X through it, just walking around with it. That'll be a good one.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah. Oh, I'm watching the episode right now. I just love when Korra breathes fire. Like Korra's pissed
Yeah, she
off.
straight up goes dragon of the
Like
east.
yeah, like this is very reminiscent of Kyoshi breathing fire. It's almost uncontrollable. Like she's like, like she can't help but breathe the fire. It adds so much. Um, it adds so much strain to her.
They do a
Like
really good
it,
job of communicating that you're kind of at brink of control, Korra.
yeah, and also communicating that that Korra is in constant agony, and that's what's
Mm.
causing her to be out of control. So yeah, so then we get a Bolin versus Gazan fight, and a Mako versus Minghua fight. So yeah, those fights are good. They are good. Um, oh gosh, Minghua is she's so freaking creepy. Like um, just the way that that she can wrap around stuff, and then she gets like Mako like traps her, and then he's like it's over. She's like no, now it's over. And she has all this water and stuff, and he's able to like dodge. She's like shooting at him, and then he props himself up on between rocks. This is like, and people might ask like, oh, why did he? Sorry, let me keep going. He props up between these two rocks, and he finally lightning bends the water, and it shocks her, and she yells out like this scream of just pure agony. You're like, holy crap, he killed her. Like that's another death. Like she's dead. She is dead. That's like it. Sure, maybe you can survive being electrocuted, but you can't survive being like electrocuted in water.
It and it really caught me off guard. Like it was really cleverly brilliant. I did not expect it. I can vividly remember the first time watching it, not expecting him to do that at all. It's like, oh, I still have this kind of Pokemon rock paper scissors vibe in my head, and it's like, oh man, he's a firebender. He's facing the most powerful waterbender. Like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, that was really, I don't know, it's very clever. It still doesn't. It's great. It doesn't catch me as like as powerful as the Pali death, but just the
No,
fact that
no, not at
again you have
all.
kind of an agonizing, like a violently agonizing death,
It was
and this one more
yeah.
visible on screen in a way.
Yeah, I mean she is that's like showing someone shoot somebody. Like
Yeah,
they showed him kill her.
on
like
screen.
like and yeah, and no, it doesn't compare to the Palia one. Which is interesting because I mean this is interesting just thought experiment for like, all right, you see someone die, you hear her screaming and everything. We didn't really see Palia die, but it's way more impactful. Like even before we see the aftermath of what Zahir goes through, it's a way more violent death. I don't know.
It's wild, or maybe we've just become like hardened to it at this point because we've already seen such a great murder.
Yeah,
Our standards
like
have risen.
like Team Avatar killed someone last episode.
They
this
murdered,
one,
they melted
like
somebody's face off last episode. It's gonna take a little more than that to impress me these days.
that's a crazy thought that Team Avatar killed somebody 2 episodes back to back. Like you don't really see you'll never see the protagonist, the good guys. Like yeah, we killed one of them last episode. We're gonna kill one of them again this episode.
Yes, we got all these extra characters we don't need in book four. I don't know. You want to
Yeah,
start capping them?
yeah.
Sure.
It's oh, it's kind of just crazy thinking about that the good guys killed 2 people back to back.
Are they the good
Um,
guys, Chris?
I don't
Are
know. They're
they?
the,
As we've
uh,
discussed before, the victors write the history books.
that's true. And then Kazan's fighting Bolin 1-on-1, and he's holding his own against him. Which I feel like that's the most Bolin can do because Bolin's very new to lava bending. And then in this moment, Kazan's like smiling, and Bolin's like, "Why are you smiling?" He's like, "I remember in our last fight." And then he lava bends at him, and then Bolin lava bends back. It's like, "Well, lots has changed." So, oh, so that's how you got out. All right, that's pretty cool. It's like these two would be friends in another
We hit
time.
on it in like a couple episodes back. I don't remember what we were talking about, but that sort of kind of gamesmanship of like of all the other horrible, serious things going on and like the dire consequences, and they're kind of like exchanging some kind of basketball caliber smack talk.
Yeah, uh, yeah. And so they kind of fight to a draw almost, and then Michael comes in after killing Mingwa. I won't say murder because I just feel like people misuse the term murder. Um, Murder should be used when I feel like the term murder should only be used when you kill someone innocent to a certain extent and not in
Whereas
self
this has more of a
defense.
very intentional manslaughter about it.
Yeah. Uh, but manslaughter doesn't roll off the tongue. After Mako manslaughtered not Pali, Mingwa, um, woman slaughtered. That's
Woman's
us. Maybe that's why we don't use such.
Minghua slaughtered.
Could you imagine like a defense attorney being like, my client cannot be accused of manslaughter because it was a woman. I mean, it's a woman that is the
It's like some very
victim.
legal technicalities in the
And
fine
then
print,
some
like,
judge is like, I'll allow it.
oh, not
Watch
bad.
yourself, McCoy.
Two Hannibal Buresses and three John Mulaney references. Solid episode so far. Solid episode. What if everybody who watches this doesn't like stand-up
they
comedy?
they probably don't, Shawn.
I don't think it's as common as it happens to be just in our circle of two. But whatever. Maybe we'll teach somebody to just watch and listen to stand-up comedy on Pandora.
Uh,
Or maybe they hate it every time we do it. It's tough. It's tough to say.
they, they probably just like, oh, well, here they go again.
They've done this bit 30 times now. And I'm not going to try to count the number of times that Shauna said, gross. We lost track after 50.
Uh, okay. Okay. So Gazan is like he knows he can't beat both of them. He's like, I'm not going back to prison. Which hey, I get. The guy was in prison for like 13 years, and so then he just brings down the whole place, and he goes down with lava. Like so, this to me that's one of the typical villain deaths, right? It's not the good guys didn't kill him. Like he killed himself. It was his own. It was his own fault.
Man, prison can't be that bad if they're teaching you how to drive heavy duty machinery in those places. No, I see what you're saying. That's more like the cowardly loss approach.
Yeah. So back to that fight's over with. So now we're pretty much just got the Korra versus Zahir fight, which is so reminiscent of the Aang versus Ozai fight. Like the scenery is very close. Korra is, and it's interesting because in this case, Korra is really playing the role of Ozai, and I feel like, well, I feel like Zahir and Aang don't really aren't that similar, but Korra is fighting a lot more like Ozai, right? With the power project, uh, feet fire blast and stuff like that to jump and stuff. And Korra's like she's not flying, but she is. Um, I can't think of the word. Not propelling. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I can't
think
think of it.
propelling, like air propelling, not like propeller, but air propelling yourself, kind of.
Yeah,
Or at least I can't think of a better word, is what it amounts to.
yeah, but so it's such a great fight. Like Korra is just on the attack. She's fighting the poison. And I just want to pinpoint. There's this one scene. It's a freaking amazing scene. Uh, I should probably just wait till it gets audio visual, but no, I'll just do that. The camera is following Sahir in the air. It's oh gosh, I'm watching it right now. It's a crazy scene that like this quality of direction and animation. I've never seen it in in an American cartoon before. Like you see this type of stuff in anime, um, I'm not including the original series Avatar in that because Avatar does that does very well with that also. But they also Avatar has never had a shot like this. I don't think where it's almost like a one shot, and they describe it as a one shot. Right, there's no real cuts in it. You're following Zahir. You see Korra doing air bidding at her, but then you're Korra's third person, and she's being the shot is just so it's so good. I don't know how they pull this off, but anyway, so yeah, the fight continues to go on, and it's hard to describe the fight really because there's just a lot going on. Um, and Korra keeps taking a beating. Like, there's this one scene where she's falling from this height, and then she's about to land, and she airbends just enough that it softens her blow a little bit, but she still lands on her legs, and that's also part of what injures her by the end of the episode. Um, but yeah, it's just such a rough fight. Also, I want to point out that Korra is way smarter than people give her credit for. Like when she's waterbending as Zahir, she ices his foot. She's not necessarily trying to attack him. She ices his foot so he has something weighing him down. And you see him being weighed down because he's trying to like block the ice off, and he does it just in time.
Which I
And
love
then
it. I
she's
love it when there's any amount of like clever, like so often it's projectile things that I love it
yeah,
when there's any amount of like kind of clever incapacitations.
yeah,
Like that very strong appreciation.
and like I feel like she's just about to defeat him too. Like she's just about to deliver this final blow, and then the poison. You can see that in her. Um, Also, one thing I love about this is that this is a really good moment again of people like gawking at Korra's power. I mean, they're not doing that necessarily, but they look so the air nomads and everyone else is just on the ground. Like they can't do anything in this fight. Like they look so defenseless. You see freaking Lynn just looking up. Like they're all kind of just waiting for it to end because they can't do anything. They're all freaking powerless. And and I'm looking at the shot now, and like you even see Kaya and Boomy just one thing they've almost been killed. They're leaning on each other, looking up. Like there's such a sense of despair here and helplessness and powerlessness, which makes Janora's uh, ideas and her wanting to keep fighting even more important. While I feel like everyone else kind of gave up hope. She knew she could, strive a little bit more. Um,
And they're not
yeah, so
even in like the glamorous part of the fighting where everybody else is getting all this great screen time. I feel like they're like I don't know. It's like an underappreciated element. They're not in the main line here.
yeah. And even Janora's dad is sort of giving up because someone's like, so here's really flying, and Tenzin's like, he's unlocked airbending abilities haven't been seen in centuries. And like he kind of has this look of just like we we try like what can we do like
Well, it's got to be
and
disheartening as it feels at that point. It's like, all right, well,
mm,
there's clearly some supernatural things that are on his side. You know,
yeah exactly like maybe the
maybe
spirits
he's justified. Like, all right,
mhm,
Airbender. Okay, if he's going to become a bender, he had a 1 in 4 chance. But what are the chances that he was going to be the one to fly? That's
yeah
a special kind of disheartening that we'll probably never have to truly understand in our lifetime.
yeah. So Janora leads all the air nomads through a Bagua circle, and they start creating a tornado. And Zahir has Korra beat, and he says, "Say hello to the Earth Queen." He's about to kill her. He does the same move he did on Earth Queen, and then that tornado takes the wind from the air circle sphere around Korra, and Zahir tries. Zahir, you can see his plan is like, all right, well, I couldn't kill her now. I'm gonna grab her. I'll take her. She either die now or I'll kill her later. But then the tornado is just too powerful. It's sucking him in, and he's like, oh crap! I gotta let like Korra's too heavy. I gotta let her go. And then this is like just sweet poetic justice. The chains, like Korra, you thought she was out of it, but she just has that so much fight left in her. Like the chains that chained her up before, she latches around to here, and then she takes him down, and boom, lands him.
It's very what's the word like poetic justice maybe is the right
Yeah,
word.
yeah. And then Sue and and Lynn Earth bends him to pretty much uh, immobilize him. And then, man, you get this really somber moment where her dad holds her and he's like, Korra, sweetie, I'm here. And she just looks up, like her eyes are still glowing in the avatar state, and she seemingly dies. Like, look, that shot to me is just so. That one moment is so impressive to me because like she's the world's most powerful being. Like her in the out and her eyes glowing is a personification of that. Like this is the world's most powerful being. At her most powerful, but she's not powerful right now. She's about to die, and she's like crying it, through through being the most powerful, and she's being cradled by her father, and she's ended up doing this ultimate sacrifice. Just a great shot. So much great story elements I think behind that.
Well, and it wouldn't even surprise us at this point. It's like, oh, we've seen people get picked off left and right. Sure, she can die by now, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, and then Janora's like, but you can save her. Yeah, the poison's made of metal. And it's funny. I was thinking to myself like, so then Spin goes takes the poison out. I'm like, why wasn't it? Why wasn't it Lynn? And in the commentary, they even bring that up. They're like, yeah, so Yenna's like, she's a lot more medical with it. She probably wouldn't like. Sure, Lynn probably could take the poison out, but Lynn would probably be a lot more rougher. Like, just Lynn isn't as doesn't have as much finesse as Su Yen does.
It's it's gonna be like the episode of Parks and Rec where Jerry does like when Ron Swanson is using fear as a motivational tactic, and Jerry does way more work, but way like with way more mistakes. And it's like, yeah, Sue Lynn, like she can, or Lynn's gonna get it all out of you, but at what cost?
Yeah. And then Zahir's like, the poison's worked. Like we did it. And then they save her. And he says something, and then Bolin puts a sock in it.
And
After this classic
I don't
Bolin.
like that he literally said, "See what I did there? I put a sock in it." Like, we get it. I think most people get it. That was like a minor detail, but it's like, what do you?
Thing is, that's something that you would do. I feel like Shawn, like just like in the last episode, you put "see what I did there."
That's actually a fair point. It's hard to disagree with that. There's tangible evidence. All you got to do is go back and watch last week's episode. Oh, nice tie-in. No, that's fair.
um, but you know what though, I didn't really love the moment, to be honest. I
It
probably could have
was
done without it
it
because
was like
th-
tonally
this this
strange.
episode is so heavy. Like it's so freaking heavy. Like they just stood around a minute ago, all about to cry, feeling helpless that they couldn't save Korra. All right, Korra saved. Oh, but it's like maybe that you can just describe as Bolin's uh, using humor as a defense mechanism.
Well, yeah, but even coming from me, I hope this has some impact. But it's like, this is one of those episodes that maybe didn't need any of those kinds of
Yeah, I could have
direct
done that.
comedy moments. Like it had some
Yeah,
not super dire. Like you got the Kazan and Bolin.
I
Like that's not comedic, but it's kind of lighthearted. It's like it had some of those, and that's fine. It didn't need this.
maybe I could still he could still put the sock in him,
Yeah, just put it
but
in
I don't
there.
know.
And,
Just
like
there's a different dialogue that could have been had that it could have been slightly funny, but not just like
he could have put the sock
overtly
in it,
funny.
and then like looked at like Mako and smiled and shrugged, and then Mako could just
Yeah,
SMH kind of.
yeah. Well, they were going what they were going for, and they said this commentary that it's very reminiscent of when Fire Lord Ozai lost, like Sokka and Toph were making fun of him and stuff like that. The thing is that you kind of compare the two fights. Funny enough, like there's probably more weight. There's definitely more weight to that fight because that's like the world the world's at stake here with the Aang versus Ozai fight. Here is just like Zahir versus Korra fight, and you're really battling to save Korra, right? So it's like Korra versus the world. Like there's technically more stakes with the Aang fight, but here it feels like there's more. It's more serious. There's more personal stakes, probably because the villain is more personal. Korra dying is more personal to us as an audience. And also, yeah, so it's weird enough that it's interesting enough that this is more serious moment. That both those moments are both pretty overtly comedic, but I don't really. I'd rather not had it in Korra. It's funny because
It's a minor
in a way,
detail. It kind of
it
hits
is a
the
minor
tone
detail.
wrong.
It's funny. I feel like in the same breath, I am uh, uh, making fun of, not making fun of, but in the same breath, I am downplaying Legend of Korra and also downplaying Avatar by saying that like, oh, Avatar did it better. Only, but they only did it better because the moment's not as serious. But love, love, love.
You can't just pass out a normal compliment, can you, Chris?
Yeah, backhanded compliment. So that's how the fight ends, and it's funny because so then we go to Air Temple Island, and we just see Asami. She's doing Korra's hair, and I was really taken aback by this the first time I watched it. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" Uh, and then Asami has this is straight up Asami buildup right here. Like Asami holding her hand, telling her like, "Listen, if you ever need to talk or anything," like, and she's holding her hand like that's one of the breadcrumbs. And I feel like this is a very looking back
This
on
is a
it. This
much
is
bigger bread. Like I miss a
yeah,
lot of other breadcrumbs, but this one was is very. That's a whole
yes,
cookie right there.
yeah. um, like oh, that's so cute that she got her dress and did her hair and everything and man, Korra just looks so down. Like she looks so beaten down. She looks in the mirror. She's like, yeah, it's great. Thanks. Like, thanks for doing my hair. Like, she has bags underneath her eyes. She's just so despondent.
But you can tell
It's like,
there's
it's,
a it does a really good job of but beyond the wheelchair and then even beyond the mental component there, but the like underlying deeper physical issues. Like no, it's not like just her legs are broke or something, but like her whole body is still kind of broken.
yeah. Um, and then Simon says, hey, hey, just try to smile, for Janora. And you're like, for Janora? And then you find a sense of like, oh crap, like something big is happening. And then they go out and they meet, uh, the rest of the people. One thing, the super president comes out. This guy, like, oh my god, this guy annoys the crap out of me. That's why
If
he
you
should.
ever if you ever play Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney at all, when he comes out, and it always makes me think of that line from Ace Attorney where he's like, "You're not a clown, you're the entire circus," and that's what I think when this guy steps out.
Like, this guy has the audacity to be like, "Let me, on behalf of Republic City, welcome you back." Like, you're the one that kicked her out. Like, thank you for taking care of that that Red Lotus threat that I did not help out with
Very
at all.
very politically spoken.
Yeah. Um. Oh, and I love that. I absolutely. I've said this before. Absolutely love the relationship between Korra and the Airbending kids. Like Milo comes and sits in her lap. Like it makes her smile with those around her, like her family around her dad. It makes her smile. Um, and then Lynn takes her up the steps, and and then so Cora leaves, and then President Rocco's like, "So what are we gonna do without the Avatar?" Like, shut up, you like you did not want the Avatar, and now you're like, "What are we gonna do without the Avatar around?" Like, oh my
You
gosh!
just want
But
somebody to
at
like
least,
pull back out a quote like, "Excuse me, sir, we have you down on record as saying a few months ago here that."
yeah. But at least it plants in the idea in the Tenz's head of like, yeah, the world is in peril. Like the Earth Kingdom's in shambles. Um, Like there's still Red Lotus members out there, so it gives Tenzin an idea to kind of repurpose the air nomads. And he goes in, he
Into
gives his
crime
speech.
fighters.
They describe them as Jedi.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And so he gives a good speech. It's like, today we're going to welcome a new master into the airbending, into the air nomads. But first, there will be no new air nation without Korra. And I just love that that Korra is getting recognized. And I think I just might like hate all the hate that Korra gets. I'm just like, there are characters within the show that are telling you the things, like, she not only has she done these things, but there are characters in the show telling her in the audience that look what Korra has done, and she still has haters. Um, and then he goes on to say like, thanks to Korra, like, the Air Nation can survive. Like, we will follow in your steps and do what our original purpose was, to be nomadic, to travel the world, to help out people of all nations. Like, that is what the Avatar does. The Avatar helps out. It doesn't matter what nation you're on. The Avatar is the Avatar of all nations. And Air Nomads kind of lost that thought of being nomadic. Like, they started holding themselves up in the temples and stuff. So it's really cool to see that he was inspired by Korra, um, for them to do this.
Essentially, for a nation to sort of change, it's hard to put it in perspective because the way I think of air nomads and the air nation is different than like a
Yeah,
country, but like this sort of redirecting such a massive school of thought on the inspiration of one person is pretty cool.
yeah. So then he says, you know, he then welcomes, he then un unhoods Janora, and she's bold. She has tattoos, and like, and then the music kicks in. The air nomads, the airbenders, then like blow some steamy all around the room. The wind chimes are going. The music is kicking in. It is such a huge, like, triumphant moment. It's just so good to see. And then and Janora hugs her dad. Like, it's really cool to see her being a master. That previous conversation we had in the original Airbenders episode, which I did not love the episode, but this came back. I mean, they could still rework that to be better. Um, but that small little tidbit now come back full circle to this moment.
It's not that episode, not our favorite, but not without
Yeah,
some redeeming qualities.
yeah,
Um, but it is nice that it's like a little spark of hope for it. Like, oh, there is some deeper purpose, some light foreshadowing in there.
yep.
It's
And then, sorry.
oh no, we haven't had a coughing fit in a while. I think we're overdue. I just I'm old and tired. Let's put it that way. I just looked up at the clock and I was at our attack. What time is it?
The thing is,
So
we
old.
didn't go off on too many tangents on this episode.
No,
I don't think.
well, but that's we
Um,
did it on purpose, right? These both of this episode and the last episode. There's no need for
yeah.
tangents. There's plenty to talk about.
And then, it's such a happy, joyous moment, and the camera zooms in on Korra. She's looking up, and she has the saddest face, and the one tear drop. And it's such a this moment is full of so many different emotions for me. Like, you're so happy and excited for Janora. Like, you get some you start reminiscing about Aang, because Janora looks like a spitting image of Aang with the bold airbending tattoo. But then you like feel so sorry for Korra. Like, you're wondering, like, why is she crying exactly? Like, is she crying because she feels like she's let everybody down, or is she crying because she feels like she will never be able to be the Avatar? Like, these people the air nomads have to change out what they're doing, because Korra can't do it. Like, she does. She's there's so much uncertainty about her future.
This is like probably too dark, and I don't know if I care to get into it too far. But like yeah, do I even want to bring it up? I don't know. It's worth talking about at least. But like, think about if she's taking her 2D series as the Avatar. Like, is there a part of her that says like, if I kill myself, at least I get a new avatar when that kid wakes up or whatever. Like, I'm not suggesting that I think she had suicidal thoughts, but like that feeling of worthless. Like right now in this current state, I'm way more hindrance than good. Like I'm preventing the world from having even the next good avatar. And obviously
I mean,
that's a
a lot of people have fan theories have said that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Brian and Mike will ever
no. I don't think they would
try
take it that
to.
far. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they will ever. I wouldn't say they'll be glorifying suicide, but ever. I mean,
No. Well, and even then it
uh,
wouldn't be at all. But just
yeah,
the
but
idea
it's
that
hard to
they're
say
not trying to
what. It's
suggest
hard to
it, but
say
just
what.
wrestling at those feelings that
Yeah,
you're literally like you're coming between the
you would
world being
be
in a better
you.
place and
I think her having the thoughts of I'll be more useful if I died would be not a suit. Now that man, that's a very
it is.
suicidal
There's
thought.
there's not a good
Um,
way to wrap it up.
but like if she wasn't, I think you could be non-suicidal and still have this random thought of I would be more useful to people if I died and then I reincarnated. Like a lot of people think, I've seen a lot of people theorize that Korra at the end of book one, when she goes to the end of that cliff, is contemplating jumping off the cliff, and I'm like, that's way too dark. Like
Yeah, it is. I
Mike and
mean,
Brian
people
will
can
never. Yeah.
contemplate all that want. I don't. But
No, shoot, dang it, didn't mute.
just
Sorry.
trying to translate the weight of what that feels like, I guess,
No,
or
I
what
think I
should
think
keep you
that's
going on.
I think that's valid to say that she would never uh, consider suicide, but the right, like I could have like this sounds weird. I hope my wife will listen. I could have thoughts of I could have a random thought like, oh, what would it be like if I cheat on my wife? Mhm. I would never do that. I would never consider or
it's
contemplate doing
it's
that.
different
But
than
it's
like
a
a
random.
literal ideation. Like when they talk about suicidal ideation or whatever, they're not talking about the thing that you just referenced, right? They're talking about like less hypothesis and more possible actualization in between
Yeah.
there.
Um, but I see her go through that thought process of just like I'm just so useless. Like what what else is there like that? Like I'm no use to anybody anymore. Um, but yeah, ends ends on a very somber note. Like I remember when I first. Never mind. I'll get to that with my scores.
Fair enough. I mean, if you're ready, let's.
Oh dang! I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. I thought
We've
that
been
one snuck
talking.
up on me.
Yeah, we've been talking a while. So I'm sure whatever cough was already in there is just being aggravated more at this point. But no, we've been talking for a while also. So let's do some scores. Let's wrap up.
All right, scores. So IO Visual a 10. One thing I want to say real quick is that dang it, I forgot his name. He plays I mean the person who voices Tanrock. He plays Raiden in the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, no kidding.
Why can't I think of
The
his
one that
name?
people say is good, but it's really not good.
Yeah. He does such a great job when he's holding Korra and he's like, Korra, sweetie, it's me. Like, wake up. Like, he does such a good job of reaching into that, like, putting a lump in his throat voice type acting because he's so saddened by his daughter. So great voice acting there. The music, Jeremy Zuckerman, this might be one of my favorite compositions that he's done. Musical scores. I think this and there's a thing in the beach that I think is done so well. Man, he's like specifically when when uh, when the Airbenders catch Zahir, but more specifically in the master ceremony, just done so well. And of course the visuals, like I went before about that shot. It's a remarkable shot. I don't know, like this is amazing animation that I, I do not think there's ever been an American animated show that has the same type of animation. Well, maybe if you count recently, I think with stuff like um, Castlevania. If you don't include that as an anime, although I feel like Netflix likes to promote it as an anime, but I don't know if you consider it as an anime.
I'm not familiar with it, but I am at least comfortable saying that, like, absolutely in its time, nothing
Yeah,
comparable to it
Castlevania.
animation
You can
wise.
watch
Oh,
Castlevania.
Castlevania. I don't know
Sorry.
what I thought you said, or my brain's not working.
Oh.
Um, okay, I get where you're coming from. You know what? Netflix does put it with the anime, doesn't it?
They like
When
to tout it. I think
the
they like to tout it as anime, even though I don't know if I would consider it.
I don't know that I would, or even if I would, like, I don't know technically what kind of definitions you'd want to get into, but just to, like,
Yeah.
remind people, I don't know if that series is quite as popular in Japan as a video game series as people realize or might be led to believe. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
as like an actual video game series. But anyway,
Yeah.
different topic, different day.
All
I don't know what I
right.
thought you said
Story.
the first time. I was like, that doesn't sound familiar to me at all.
Story. A 10. Korra sacrifice. Like so good. So I don't even know how to phrase and talk about it, but this episode, I feel like it oh, shook me. Redefined Korra's avatar status. This is such a great finale. So 10 on the story. Memorable, absolutely a 10. It's weird. This is like one of those. Like you ever watch a show? You're like, oh, I remember it. I remember exactly what I was doing when I watched this moment. Like I remember exactly where I was at watching this episode. I was on my recliner. My daughter was probably only 2 at the time. And I was watching on my phone because this was when Nickelodeon just took it all off of Nickelodeon's site, and I didn't have a tablet, and I had no Roku, and I probably could have watched it on the computer downstairs, but I was watching my daughter, and so I was watching it on my phone on the recliner, and I remember sitting on the recliner just crying, watching this and watching it on my phone, thinking like, this is like I've just never sat and watched something on my phone and cried from watching it. Um,
I think
no,
having it
it's
on your phone kind of increases what makes that feel weird or strange.
yeah. Oh, it does. Yeah. I remember my wife was like in the room, and me not wanting to be like for her to see me crying. I was like, oh crap, what is? Oh man. And so I mean, I honestly, this is. I think I probably can more consistently. I probably more consistently cry at this moment than I do any other moment in the Avatar universe. At the end there, even more so, I think the Iroh Zuko reunion is more heartfelt and more emotional. Maybe it's not more emotional. I don't know, but for some reason, this moment triggers more things out of me crying wise in that moment. They're both very cry worthy moments that I tend to anytime I watch either one of those two. But I think it's because the last 5 minutes of this it keeps compounding on each other because uh, you have Korra talk with Asami and you get a sense of what's happened and Korra's just down and then everyone talking about how she's changed and then you get the highs of Janora and that ceremony. Like there's just so much. It's a very elongated moment that just kind of keeps compounding on you emotionally. While the Iroh Zuko reunion is like it's kind of like a quick 2 minute, maybe not even that type of
It's
deal.
much more like contained moment, or
Yes, yeah,
or well, no, I'll just stick with contained. I think that's a nice word to describe.
yeah. So 10, 10 on that. Bunch of tens.
Bunch tens. Good at math, bad at math. That leads us to a 10. Great. Chris, I got news for you. Audio visual 10, and I gotta be honest, a different kind of 10 for me. But what it amounts to is that it delivers exactly what I want to see in a finale in terms of aesthetic and tone and music and everything it does. It's exactly what I want out of a finale. Story wise, I'd say the same thing. It's maybe not the how do I say this? It's not the ending that I want because I'm a happy ending person. But that does not mean that it is. In fact, it absolutely does not mean, because my taste is horrible, that it's not just a really well tied together thing. That while it is not a happy ending, it takes and sort of uses everything that the season before, that the 12 preceding episodes gave it to work with, and even the 26 or however many episodes before that to work with, and it puts them all really good to use, and to really good use. And I think you already kind of said, like, an emotional roller coaster. I don't know. It uses everything at its disposal, and it's fantastic. And so, likewise, memorable. Same thing, 10, in that it's, again, I come from a place of wanting to, I'm a happy ending person. I like tying up loose knots, and then kind of letting things go or whatever. And this definitely isn't that. But that being said, it sticks top of mind up there with any finale of any other Avatar verse finale, in top of mind, and what it delivers and how it sticks with me. Chris, I remember where I was, not in the same way that you do, though. I just know that I watched all of season 3 and all of season 4 at my kitchen table in Topeka, because that's where I just got pretty good service out there, and we played lots of
No, I
Yu-Gi-Oh
think
out there.
I gave you the DVDs.
Let me think. For
For Blu-rays?
Korra, we were watching them online for season 4 for sure. I was watching them online as they were released.
Really? Okay.
Season 3 could have been Blu-rays. Could have been Blu-rays on season 3. Definitely season 4 online. But mostly I just was like watching it at my laptop at the kitchen table. So I do, but not the same impact as you. But overall, there's not a lot of TV shows, if you know me and my memory for these things, where any kind of one moment or episode sticks out in the same way that something like this does. So naturally, that weighs out as a 10. But Chris, I am going to go with the caveat. I'm going to throw a caveat here, is that this episode's 10, for me, is a different 10 than the previous episode, is a different 10 than Into the Void. And I think all I'm really trying to say is that Into the Void is a much more Shawn episode, and I think I like it better. So it's both 10s, but I think I like Into the Void as a better 10.
I'm the opposite, and even though we both at 10, I like
it
this.
suits us.
This
Each
one.
of what were these episodes and these responses like aren't surprising to me, given the episode and the person vouching for them. Right, like this one is a much more Chris episode. It has much more big picture, large narrative storytelling feel to it. So it, it tracks with previous decisions and tastes. But even as I was watching, like as I was putting together the PowerPoint and watching these last night, texted you, I was like, I'm gonna give these both a 10, but one of the 10s is more. But overall, and I'm glad they're not tied together into into a to be continued kind of thing. They definitely both just need their own. Oh, what's up? It's time to watch.
No, I always love it when it does that. It's because it's such a great image.
It is. It's a really good thing. They're both excellent, just kind of masterworks of animation, as a storytelling media. And I love it. I think I do like the previous one more. When we get to the rankings, I'll have to just have a kind of a nominal tiebreaker, as will you. But it's a tremendous ending to a tremendous season.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like this is this season took these 2 episodes, this one episode, whatever. These 2 episodes took Legend of Korra like way up a notch, I think, for me in terms of my overall perception of the series.
It definitely has a kind of an epic feel after these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
An epic as in the larger story, not like just a loosely used terminology, or what am I trying to say? Not EPIC, but the other one. Well, is it still EPIC when it's like describing a narrative or like a type of a story, an epic? Is that still EPIC?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, you all know what I mean. It's an epic, but Hey, Chris, I know we've been talking for ages, and I don't know about you, but
Uh,
I am absolutely dying. But we got to at least have this moment for final thoughts if you have any to offer.
Final thoughts. Like I said, this it changed my perception of the whole entire series. Changed my perception of Korra, the character. It took her in a direction. This episode, I think, played with my expectations. Also, one thing I want to note that Mike and Brian often talk about in the commentaries. I think it's like things. There are stakes, and there are with those stakes, there are consequences to your actions or your inactions. Like Korra has to deal with being injured. Like not only she has to deal with it physically, which she absolutely does. Like she is in a wheelchair, but she has to deal with it emotionally. And they were saying like they feel like all too often in superhero stories or in whatever, like characters, like something terrible happens to a character physically, but for some reason it doesn't affect them emotionally. And really, you rarely ever see them really affect them physically. Like they get hurt, but then like the next scene, they're perfectly fine. Um,
It feels
uh,
very low stakes more
yeah,
often
like
than not.
I can bring up an example, War Machine and Captain America: Civil War, right? Like I forget what happened, but somebody pretty much paralyzes Don Cheadle's character. Next scene, he's like he has on these boot type of deals, and he can pretty much walk again. I was like, oh, you're fine. We were trying to make that heavy scene, but no, he's perfectly fine. Like here, at the end of this, Korra is like, I'm not fine, guys. Like I'm dealing with it. I'm currently dealing with it. I don't know what to do.
It has
Like
an element of like permanence to it too, like to end the season on that note. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't
yeah,
just feel like at the beginning of the next season, like oh she's gonna be better again. Like they translate it in such a way that you know it's like a long term thing,
hmm
which feels very rare in my
yeah,
admittedly limited experience.
yeah. But great, 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 great
Great.
episode.
No better word. Great ending to a great season. Chris, I'm really tired. I'm going to go to bed. And
Me too.
we thank all of you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this. Happy Thanksgiving or happy, whatever regular week. If you don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving, you just, eat a little extra food for no other reason than because you can. My name is Shawn Taylor. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek. We'll put lots of contact stuff down in the description. And we will see you next time. Have a great day.
I'm glad I sat on the couch for this.